But I know, have I ever gone to prison?
Well, you tell us.
I know.
God forbid bad thing. There's a commentary here in the Vanguard newspaper about Adamu's walkout on protesting students. This person has quite a few words.
Yeah, it's a very nice article. I like Vanguard editorials because they are short and sharp. Very short and sharp. And this one is called Adamu's walkout on protesting students, which all of you know, and which I blamed him for. By that act alone, I don't think he has what it takes. I don't think he's fit for public office. But I won't ask him to resign, and I won't ask anybody to sack him because that's a waste of valuable time. It doesn't happen like that in Nigeria. But the Vanguard argues that the futility of that angry walkout was underscored by the fact that Adamu still had to meet later with the same non-leaders at the National Universities Commission. And they said by then his temper had cooled enough to engage the students with appropriate equanimity. And then, of course, it was said that at the meeting he was able to disclose that the contentious issues contained in the MOU signed with ASU in 2009 were being repackaged for possible endorsement by both parties, with NANS included at that, in the meeting. The Vanguard describes his walkout like adding salt to injury, as it was contempt indirectly aimed at millions of Nigerians who are forced to bear the effects of ASU's online strike. Remember, the students challenged him that you have your kids abroad, we are suffering here. We got to know later that that particular news item that the NANS president referred to, it wasn't Adamu, it was the secretary of the NUC, but he probably has his kids abroad anyway. And then the Vanguard then argues that people in government like Adamu should be reminded that the opulence of high office and the accompanying perks belong to the people.
That's right.
And they have the right to ask questions and demand answers. If you don't want that, don't take public office. Go home. Stay privately. Just 14 months from now, Adamu will leave office. In 14 months, he'll be an ex-minister. He should ask himself what he has done during the 2 terms that Buhari gave him to solve our educational problems. I wonder what his own scorecard will look like. And then the Vanguard adds that we also hope that the new strategy he referred to is being packaged along with that. So how will it relate to the MOU and MOA which the federal government repeatedly failed to honor? We hope this might not worsen the situation. And by the way, I need somebody to tell me, is there an upper age limit, one, for being a student and for being a NANS president? I'm just wondering.
I don't think so. What I assume...
Of course there's none.
Because when I looked at their faces also,
yes,
they possibly are master students, but they're also students.
Ooh, I just asked a question.
That's the answer.
I didn't say you should look at people's faces. I just asked if there was an upper limit.
No, I doubt that there is.
Well, if that is what is going to save NANS, so be it. I mean, I would have loved, as a matter of preference, a representation that is slightly more younger and more contemporary in that mold. But hey, listen, if that's what it's going to take, if that's what's going to up the ante, so be it.
And they vote their leaders. So if that's who they voted for,
yes.
That's what.
But it just looks kind of. It takes some getting used to.
When you say students,
I've always been used to very extremely young.
If you come
20s.
to my class,
in your own.
I'm a student too now.
Oh, you're a student again. So what course are you doing now?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, how old are you now?
15. I'll be 16 by June. Just joking. And on that level, my classmates who are also professionals, they can also contest for NANS leadership.
No, yes. I mean, if I go back to read law, for example.
Yeah, you're a student.
I'm a student and I can run for students' union. Yes.
So that's how it works. Okay, so move closer. Those of you who want to go to Ukraine to go fight for them, this headline tells you what to do All right, it's in the Punch newspaper. Nigerian fighters must provide $1,000 for tickets and visa, says Ukraine. So if you want to come join them, yeah, that's cool. Get the money ready for your ticket and visa.
You know, I reacted yesterday slightly emotionally to this idea of some people wanting to go to fight. But then it just occurred to me this morning that, hey, some people are mercenaries. That's what they do for a living. I mean, look at those who let me read this story to you so you will understand. Well, Nigerians are complaining the $1,000 requirement is too high. Says Monday Adiku, who is a dismissed Nigerian army personnel for personnel. Okay, and so he says that they said we should provide evidence of military experience, passports, and $1,000 for tickets and others. Then when I asked what the salary is, the guy first said the salary was $7,000
per month.
But I think he scratched his head and said, no, sorry, it's not $7,000. He changed it to $3,300 per month. Then he says, I showed him my military and training certificates. So this gentleman was asked, when he asked why he wanted to go to Ukraine, Atiku said he needed money to take care of his family. You know, those of us who are not military people, we think that once you go to a war zone, you are going to die. But it's the other way.
It's a job for him.
It's a job for him. And he says, I want to go to Ukraine because I'm a military man. I fought in Liberia, he not die. I fought in Sierra Leone, he not die. I was part of the 33 Battalion. I was trained by Ukrainian soldiers when I was in the United Nations in Kosovo on how to shoot and drive APC tanks. I can drive it very well. So it's a job.
It's a job for him.
Yeah, so my sentiments might not necessarily hold water
for
cases,
everyone. Yeah.
Yes, for cases like this. It says, so when I heard about Ukraine and the way people are trooping in, I am a farmer, I didn't have anything, I am a fighter. They said they will pay us, so I'm ready to fight and so that I can get paid and take care of my family. I will also bring glory to the name of Nigeria and not put Nigeria name inside. You are going there to work. Period.
But if it's work, in the same way other people in other professions make us proud. It was making us proud.
Making us proud, how?
And his profession is shining if he goes and they win the war.
Well,
yeah, I mean.
But Adiku had been dismissed from the army here.
Why?
He was at war. He left his duty post to go and visit his pregnant wife without permission. That's a serious whatever. So he says he's not afraid, and it also talks about David and Goliath. Another applicant, Nkem Udweche, who is from Anambra, said he was fluent in Russia, having attended the Russian Military Academy in 2007.
Oh. I need people like this to come on the show.
Udweche said, well, I'll give you.
Which
the person who wrote is Punch. And it's written by Eniola Akikotu.
I'll find the person.
You find him. I'll
let
fix
me.
He said his wife was against his traveling to Ukraine. That one they beg not go now. But he says no, that he will travel nonetheless for the sake of honor. He says, I am 101% to fight for Ukraine. It's wrong, and he talks about the moral of everything and so on and so forth.
That's good.
But just in case, the Punch spoke to the diplomat, the man in charge of recruitment, and he says, and listen carefully for those who might want to go, if a person wants to fight for Ukraine or any other country, only volunteers can do it. We know that. If Ukraine pays these people, they will be mercenaries, and it violates international law.
So why are they recruiting them?
In general, when a person joins another country's army, they pay the normal price that their soldiers are paid. This is how it works across the world. You come to fight because an injustice has been done. On why $1,000 was being demanded from Nigerian volunteers, the diplomat said, yes, this is what I paid the last time I visited Ukraine. And he thanks Nigeria for siding.
They should give them free entry. I mean, if you need people to come fight for you, I'm not sure that asking them to pay is the next thing.
No,
but
it's a commercial transaction.
Well, since they'll be paying them, right?
This gentleman has just played to the gallery.
But do mercenaries pay for their ticket to go into countries there?
It depends on your contract.
Well, again,
there's no mercenary is a black market.
It is.
So it depends on your ticket. The truth is, if you are Wanted. If you are haunted, you know, the one.
If you're very good and
very good, go watch films like Dogs of War and so on and so forth. You see how these mercenaries, if you are wanted, they recruit you.
It's covert operation.
It's covert
except
operation.
for now. There's nothing covert about this one. All right, let's see this next story from the Vanguard. Despite ban, hawking of petrol persists on Abuja roadside. Don't even go far. Lagos here. For scarcity, a blessing in disguise, says hawkers in Abuja. Security agents mom on why practice continues. I hear they now sell, 10 liters for 10,000 naira on Lagos Island. My driver yesterday told, I'm kidding now, 10,000 naira. That's 1,000 naira per liter.
You know, saying go don't add your own shower.
Ubi.
Your driver now.
No, it's not my car. I don't drive anymore. I can't do. I parked my car. The taxi driver.
My own car does not use fuel.
Kilolo.
Sandal never buy.
That's what they call legabens.
There's a legabens. I'm sorry to bust your bubble this morning. We don't have any news for you. Everybody says, even says here, security agents keep mum, and you know, nobody knows. And it also says here that Sanwo-Olu's instruction was defied by motorists yesterday. You know, they hit the road and did whatever they wanted to do. And I'm sure that the government, anyway, this government has a record of not being able to ensure compliance with these orders. Most of these orders exist on the pages of newspaper. So we have a situation on our hands. If you have nowhere important to go, you stay in your house.
Stay at home.
For those who can work from home, you work from home. Remember, the country that you live in now, there is nobody you can report to. There is nobody you can run to for succor.
Oyo is your middle name.
You're on your own.
On your own.
You're on your own. How you are going to power your better pass my neighbor generator, I honestly don't know. But hey, you have till this time next year to make up your mind that you want to stop this suffering. If you want to continue living like this, over the years, don't forget that this is not peculiar to Buhari's government. It's been over the years. So if you want to continue like this, go and vote for the people of this generation and anybody who has anything to do with this government.
Well,
if you want, it's a choice.
It's a choice. Always a choice.
I will be happy next year, May, to see who will be sworn in. And then I will be taking a very, very personal decision as to whether I want to continue to live like this or not. Not because I want to die. I'm not committing suicide. But let us all try and make sure that what we have decided within ourselves is what prevails in 2023. If you like, cast your vote for all these people. They've started again. You know, this same generation. I want to go run for the benefit of the youth. Let the youth run themselves. Let's have a new beginning. Let's have a new beginning. Let's even try it. If you've been doing something for the past 20-something years, you know, and you can't absorb the same generation from the military rule that we've had, don't you think that it's now time for you to start something new? That's what I've been thinking in the past 2 to 3 days, that for how long this has been going on and on and on. If I remember the experiences of this same fuel scarcity 10, 15 years ago, when a whole jerrycan of 50 liters was stolen right in my presence and it just disappeared. The vulcanizer who was going to help me carry the jerrycan, somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I looked right. Vulcanizer was on my left. As I looked right, they slapped the vulcanizer. As he turned to say, "Yeah, before he turned and I turned back left, the jerrycan was gone. 50 liters. I'd been there from 6:30 in the morning. It's at Moloney here. You know, I've been through this kind of trauma. Larry Dowa and I one day went all the way to past Shagamu to buy fuel during fuel crisis. We went all the way. We went with 3 jerrycans to buy fuel. As we were waiting, we saw one petrol station by the side. I think it was. Then we saw this car with about 4 or 5 people, 5 guys, tall guys wearing dark shirts and so on and so forth. And they wanted to buy fuel. As soon as they came down like that, I said, "There's."
Bagbe.
I do. I jolly well knew. So we've been, and this is about, you're talking about when my kids are now mothers when they were young. So some of us have done this repeatedly. This time around, I'm determined. have a Legidis Benz, and if you can't get me there, then so be it. But the question what I'm trying to remind you about today is that listen to all the propaganda that people have to tell you. It's up to you. That vote is in your hand.
Yeah.
If you want to continue to live like this, so be it. We shall meet on the on
Judgment Day.
30th of May. Then everybody will decide to bear in Papa's name, because I'm just and this has nothing. This is across the board. It has nothing to do with whether you want to be Yoruba Nation or you want to IPOB or all these things. They are all the same. In fact, the irony is that when they meet, when there's something in the cookie jar, all of them, you see them calling
shaking hands and hugging.
My brother from another mother, my brother Ironi, Dabaru. So it's up to you, Nigerians. It's up to you.
Interestingly, I saw a video yesterday in Ibadan. People now pull...
You now do what?
So because they're not selling to kegs at the filling stations, they're removing their petrol tank. We've
done that before.
In their gen, and they're queuing with that. Someone came with the tank of his car, a big tank of something really long like this. Remove the whole thing.
We have hired from Erupi, who repairs generators. We go to hire tanks. So we can say, if the government says by law, don't sell into jerry cans. Okay, this is not a jerry can, this is a tank. I've done all that.
They started that in Ibadan already.
I've bought 650 liters before. In the past, 20 years ago. See, you know how much that is?
Yeah.
650 liters just so that you can have fuel.
And you remember the fire hazard also of storing petrol, right? All right, let's see this next one. Similar, energy crisis, electricity output plunges, long queues for fuel persist in Lagos. Motorists lament, defy Sanwo-Olu, unwholesome practices, slow down government effort on electricity baba. Electricity's growth sluggish in 2021. It's a full potpourri of stuff here. Well, the Vanguard.
There's nothing more to say. You've been hit left, right, and center. You've been hit in the fuel area. You've been hit in the energy crisis. The people who are supposed to be in the driver's seat, when I say the people, because it's not just one man, they don't go. They are privileged. They can go for their checkup and go for whatever it is that they're going for, and bound the rest of us to the Philistines. Take your life in your hands, for God's sake. Be reasonable. Don't cast that vote in 2023 just because somebody is either from your hometown or is from this or from that. Don't believe in that kind of nonsense. And for God's sake, let us try and work towards a new beginning. It says we have an energy crisis. What am I going to say that you don't know? Right. There's no light. To put it in simple, plain language, there's no light. And it's made worse now. There's no fuel to even run the generator, but that's a good excuse for some people, because even when there was petrol to run the generator, there's no money to buy it. Because things
are really
bad,
tough.
Very bad. Yesterday, I had the ladies who came to talk about food.
Things are really tough.
And things are
when I put up
really
a very, it's still very heartbreaking to me. A tweet, I believe it was last week. You know, I just gone to buy stuff for the house for March, and while I was shopping, just provisions, so just children's provisions. And I was doing calculation. I kept, I always have a list of how much I bought last month, and then I'm comparing. I'm like, what? Why? How? And I had to ask people who earn below 100,000 naira, how do they survive? How do they eat?
So you earn above 100,000, you're a rich woman. I went to the shop. Philip is laughing at you. I went to the shops yesterday to buy cereal. It's now 4,000. It used to be 750. I like cereals because you can quickly put something in your belly.
Yes.
You can no
Early
longer,
in the morning.
You can no longer. I dropped it. When
for a box of cereal.
Mama Mugari. I'll be drinking Gari and Ogi.
Even Gari. Okay, Gari is still, I think a bowl is still 1,000 plus. Even the Ogi, because I make for my baby, I spend about 5,000 naira to make for the month. It's
baby, all just, how old is your baby?
It's 1+. It's going to be 2.
We should do baby friendly till they're about 2 or 3.
Baby friend. Baby friend. What?
Yeah, you beg the father now.
Let's do daddy friend.
No, you beg the
Let's see this next story. Apapa gridlock, NATO truckers. You see, is it not someone that has finished eating that is doing baby fray or something? Mothers have not eaten, they're the ones that will be doing baby fray. So we'll look at the impact on babies also. If mothers are not feeding well, how do they nurse their babies? It's just...
No, nature takes care of that. Something will always come out.
It will, but it won't feel the baby. So it's strenuous on the mother. The baby is not full, always cranky, always crying. the mother is this.
I don't have experience in that.
I'm telling
that
you,
form of food.
money.
You don't tell me I took that kind of food before.
So it's got a ripple effect. Let's touch on this one finally. Just 1 minute we have before we go. Apapa gridlock. NATO truckers accuse LASMA, security agencies, of extortion. Says corruption back in the axis. Lagos keeps mum about this.
Yeah, but this is an ongoing saga that the government always huffs and puffs about. But I think for once now, the man in charge has been completely defeated. By the way, my sympathies go to my colleagues in the Vanguard. The road to their office now has been completely blocked.
By
construction and the whole gamut of whatever is going on in that neighborhood.
They didn't leave them a walk-in, a drive-in.
It says here that Vanguard Access Road is blocked. So it's not a surprise that I hear Sam hasn't been going to office recently. Anyway, but Lagos State government keeps mum. The chairman of the Lagos State Special Traffic Management Team, he refused to respond to messages sent to his mobile phone as to the Apapa gridlock. Of course, we all know the corruption that goes on there. You can see it is so glaring, it's unbelievable. And it's one of the things that we are going to mark against Sanwo-Olu when he comes back for the election. It's one of the things we are going to be telling him, that you didn't do this and you didn't do that. You did what's it called very well, COVID very well. Give you kudos for that. But in this one, as far as traffic is concerned, you failed completely. Throughout his tenure, it was construction and harrowing experiences for people, unplanned.
And he did promise to solve. He promised to solve traffic in 6 months. I still have the
video. If you live in Surulere and you want to come to Lagos, you have to go all the way to Woronshoki to go and turn. I mean, the Yaba is blocked. Now the Akmabo, the Kobe is going to be blocked. I don't know.
All right, we'll leave you now. Jimi will be back at 9 o'clock. It has more talk coming up then. After the news on the hour at 8 o'clock, let's do a review of the bigger stories this week so that I can remind you and you can keep up the conversation over the weekend. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. Yeah. He is Jimi Disu. Good morning.
When opportunity knocks, Doreen answers.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.